Chosen one, this message has reached you at the perfect time. No accidents, no coincidences. This is divine timing in full motion. You are guided here because God is about to transfer wealth into your hands, and your spirit needed to hear this now. What you've been carrying in silence is about to be honored in the open. The struggle wasn't in vain, it was the setup for your overflow. You've been through a season of lack, of confusion, of watching others rise while you remained hidden. In silence, you questioned the delays. You wondered why your faith wasn't turning into fruit. But let me tell you something sacred and powerful. The struggle was never a punishment. It was preparation. The wilderness wasn't wasted. I know you cried behind closed doors. I know you gave when you barely had enough. I know how many times you showed up with a smile while your heart was breaking. But let me tell you something straight from heaven's archives. Every single tear, every single test, it was counted. It was witnessed. And it was written into the legacy of your breakthrough. You didn't survive the wilderness just to be forgotten. You endured it because God trusted you with it. You thought the silence meant He left, but in truth, the silence meant He was working in the background, building what you couldn't see. You thought the doors that closed were a curse. But now you're about to realize, those doors were divine protection. You weren't ready for what was behind them yet, but now you've been molded, refined, pruned. You've been humbled, not to break you down, but to prepare you for the weight of what's about to be placed in your hands. See, people often celebrate the palace and forget the pain that led to it. But God doesn't. He honors the process. He remembers the nights you praised when you didn't feel like it. He remembers the times you encouraged others when your own soul needed saving. You thought it was all wasted. But the truth, that wilderness was your training ground. You didn't get weaker. You got wiser. You didn't fall apart. You found your foundation. And now the tables are turning. The same ground that looked like a desert is about to spring with living water. The same hands that once held lack are about to overflow with blessing. You're not just going to witness a blessing. You're going to become one. You're about to walk into rooms that once ignored you. You're about to be given keys to doors that no man can shut. Why? Because the wilderness did its job. It didn't destroy you. It defined you. You didn't just go through it. You grew through it. You learned how to be content without applause. You learned how to stand without a spotlight. And now the spotlight is coming, not to elevate your ego, but to magnify God's faithfulness. That's why this wealth, this increase, this shift, it's not just about you. It's about the testimony you carry. The proof that even when it looked like nothing was happening, God was setting you up for everything. So when it comes, don't question it. Don't shrink. Don't second-guess your worth. You earn this through your obedience, through your trust, through your tears. The wilderness was never wasted. It was the womb that birthed your divine assignment. And now, your hands are being prepared to receive the very thing heaven's been storing up with your name on it. The transfer has begun. Be ready. Before we dive deep, take a moment, like this video, share it, and if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do. Because this message is essential for every chosen one. If you feel the power of this message resonating in your heart, type 77 in the comments. This isn't just a number. It's a powerful signal to the universe that you are aligned with divine truth and ready to claim the blessing that's rightfully yours. Only those who are truly chosen will stay until the end. And those are the ones who will gain deep understanding, sharpen their spiritual insight, and receive the blessings hidden within this message. Let me tell you something real, something that will hit you deep in your soul. Delayed does not mean denied. Just because the clock kept ticking and the door didn't swing open when you knocked, doesn't mean the door was locked forever. It just means God had a different timing, a perfect timing, a holy rhythm that doesn't answer to our impatience. I know how hard it's been to keep believing, to keep sowing, praying, standing when everything around you whispered, maybe it's not meant to be. But what if I told you, your delay wasn't rejection, it was redirection? That the thing you were waiting on wasn't denied, It was simply being divinely timed. When you plant a seed, you don't dig it up the next day and curse the soil because nothing sprouted. You water it. You trust the process. You know something's happening underground even if your eyes can't see it yet. Your life, chosen one, has been under divine cultivation. God's been growing roots deep before He lets the blessing rise high. He didn't forget your prayer. He didn't overlook your obedience. The heavens recorded every act of faith. You didn't miss your moment. It's just still loading. See, the enemy wants to convince you that the delay is the denial, that the wait is a sign of God's absence. But the truth is, the wait is proof of God's intention. When God delays something, He's often preparing you for a version of the blessing that's bigger than what you asked for. You prayed for a window to open, but God was building you a whole estate. You were asking for enough to get by, but He was preparing you to carry enough to bless nations. The size of the delay reflects the size of the destiny. It matures you. You stop treating miracles like magic and start treating them like responsibilities. And that's why the delay wasn't a punishment. It was a preparation for the weight of the wealth that's about to land in your hands. The weight has sharpened your ears to God's voice. You've learned how to move without applause, how to give without recognition, how to stay loyal to your calling even when nothing around you confirmed it. That's spiritual strength. And now, your harvest is chasing you. The thing that looked stuck is about to show up unstoppably. The blessing has been released. It's just catching up to your level of readiness. Chosen one, your name has not been forgotten in heaven's archives. Your destiny hasn't been canceled, it's just been scheduled. And now, the appointed time is approaching. When it happens, it will happen fast. It will happen fast. Don't be surprised. Don't apologize. Just receive it with faith and move forward with power. Because what God delayed, He is now determined to deliver. And when He delivers, He does it in a way that no man can take the credit. Get ready, because denied is off the table. It's time. There's something sacred about being hidden. Something holy about being unseen while everyone else is being celebrated. While others are posting their wins, collecting their promotions, walking stages and receiving applause, you've been in the back, in the shadows, behind the curtain. But chosen one, I want you to hear me clearly. Hidden seasons are not wasted seasons. They are preparation for public miracles. They are God's way of getting you ready without letting the world interfere with what He's building in you. You see, God hides what He values. He covers what He's cultivating. Diamonds are formed deep underground. Gold is purified in fire, not on display. Even Jesus didn't start His public ministry until 30 years of silence. And yet, we live in a world that rushes us, that convinces us if we're not being seen, we're not being successful. But let me tell you something powerful. The greatest breakthroughs are born in the dark. That silence you've been sitting in, that isolation you've been enduring, that was God wrapping you in divine protection. He wasn't punishing you, He was preserving you. You've been wondering why certain people walked away, why opportunities slipped through your fingers, why your name never came up in the rooms where you knew you belonged. But what you don't see is what heaven has been orchestrating on your behalf. If God had revealed you too early, the world would have misused you. If you had been promoted too soon, you would have crumbled under the weight of it. That hiddenness was the shield that kept you from sabotage. Because what's built in the spotlight often breaks in the spotlight. But what's built in the shadows lasts. Some of you have been frustrated with your silent season. You've prayed, fasted, and felt like God was ignoring you. But what if I told you He wasn't silent? He was strategizing. God was working on the roots while you were begging for the fruit. He was strengthening your character, increasing your wisdom, training your spirit. You didn't see the results, but heaven saw the growth. Every morning you got up and pushed forward. Even without results, God recorded it. Every time you stayed faithful when nobody was watching, He took note. And now the silence is about to break. Public miracles don't happen for people who chase attention. They happen for those who chased obedience. You stayed when it was easier to run. You served when nobody clapped. You prayed when it felt like nothing was moving. That's the kind of preparation that produces supernatural promotion. And now your name is about to be called, not by man, but by heaven. What you built in private is about to be revealed in power. What you held onto in the dark is about to shine in the light. People won't understand how you went from hidden to highlighted overnight. But they didn't see the nights you wrestled with God. They didn't see the sacrifices you made in secret. They don't know what it cost you to remain faithful when nobody acknowledged your value. But God knows. And now He's ready to show the world what He's been working on all this time. So don't despise the hidden seasons. Don't rush the process. Don't beg for the spotlight when God is still writing your script. Because when it's time, you won't have to chase the stage. It will be prepared for you. You won't have to knock on the door. It will be opened wide. And the miracle that's been forming in the dark? It's about to break open in full view. Because when God reveals what He hid, the world has no choice but to watch and give Him glory. Your unveiling is coming. Get ready. Let me say this straight to your spirit. Your name is being spoken in places your feet haven't touched yet. And I don't mean by accident. I don't mean by coincidence. I mean divine orchestration. Behind closed doors, in boardrooms, in conversations you weren't invited to. Your name is on the table. And not because of who you know. Not because of the degrees you hold or the resume you built. But because of the oil that's on your life. Because of the favor that follows you even in silence. Because you've been faithful with little and now God is preparing to trust you with much. See, you've been thinking you're forgotten. You've been walking around like your time passed you by. You've been measuring your worth by your visibility. But heaven doesn't work like that. God is not bound by earthly system. He doesn't need a publicist, a promotion team, or a viral moment to elevate you. All He needs is one divine whisper. One holy mention, one decision maker to be stirred by your name in their spirit, and suddenly your whole life can change. One moment you're unseen. The next, you're summoned. You didn't ask for this. You didn't chase it. That's what makes it even more powerful. Because when you stay in alignment with God's will, you don't need to promote yourself. Favor becomes your advocate. While you were praying in secret, heaven was setting appointments. While you were fighting battles in silence, heaven was shifting hearts on your behalf. There are people you've never met who are about to open doors you didn't knock on. Because God already put your name in their spirit. They don't even know why they're drawn to help you. But they will. Because favor bypasses protocol. I know it's hard to believe sometimes. I know what it feels like to serve with excellence and still be overlooked. I know what it's like to have the solution, the vision, the anointing, and still be told to wait. But what if your name is being carried right now, even as you listen to this? What if someone is sitting at a table, thinking about who they need to lead the next chapter, and your name is rising in their mind like a sunrise? You don't see it, but it's already happening. Because favor moves before you do. This is why you had to endure what you did. Why the delay had to be long. Why the isolation had to run deep. Because what's coming is not small. God didn't create you for shallow waters. He's been preparing you for influence, for expansion, for territory you haven't even dreamed of. And when you step into those rooms, you won't have to perform. You won't have to prove yourself. You'll simply walk in, and it will feel like it was always meant to be. Because it was. Every act of obedience, every yes when it hurt, every no to compromise, it all positioned you for this. Heaven is not looking for perfection. It's looking for faithfulness. And you, chosen one, have proven again and again that your faith cannot be shaken. Now it's your season to be seen. Not for glory, not for fame, but because your assignment is calling. Because what's in you can't stay hidden forever. Because someone needs what you carry, and heaven is making the connection. So walk like your name is already known. Speak like the doors are already open. Move like God has already gone ahead of you. Because He has, and your moment is not coming. It's already in motion. You've been trying to figure out how. You've been sitting in your room looking at the numbers, studying the doors that never opened, replaying the moments that made you question your calling. You've been asking God, where is the breakthrough? When will I finally see it with my own eyes? And the reason you haven't seen it the way you expected is because what's coming won't be logical. It's going to be supernatural. See, when God transfers wealth, real wealth, it doesn't follow the rules of the world. It doesn't come from hustle culture, stock tips, or perfect timing. It comes from heaven's strategy, not man's systems. What's about to be placed in your hands won't make sense to the people around you. It won't add up on a calculator. You'll walk into rooms you didn't train for. You'll receive favor you didn't campaign for. You'll be given opportunities you didn't ask for. Because this isn't about logic. It's about divine overflow. That's why the doors that made sense didn't open. That's why the plan you thought would work crumbled. Because God had to break the structure of your expectation so he could release the fullness of his power. He's not going to bless you through a natural transaction. He's going to do it through a supernatural demonstration. The kind of blessing that makes people stare, the kind of favor that leaves mouths open, the kind of elevation that has no explanation but God. Now I need you to hear this. Don't downplay it when it happens. Don't shrink when they ask how you got here. Don't apologize for what's about to come into your life. Because what's coming is not based on your resume. It's based on your revelation. It's not the result of who you knew. It's the result of who you believed. God saw the nights you cried and still showed up. He saw you sow when you barely had enough for yourself. He watched you worship with an empty account, with a tired body, with a weary heart. And now heaven is about to respond in full. And this wealth transfer, it's not just money. It's wisdom. It's healing. It's open heavens over your family. It's peace where chaos used to live. It's restoration where there used to be ruin. God is about to place you in a position of impact so strong that even your enemies will have to admit something supernatural touched your life. You won't have to convince them. The fruit will speak for itself. You'll walk into the blessing, and it will be undeniable. You've been faithful. You've been obedient. And now, heaven is releasing provision tied to your purpose. So when the checks come, remember the calling. When the doors open, remember the source. Don't let the blessing pull you away from the one who gave it. Stay anchored, stay humble, because this is not just a gift, it's a trust. God is trusting you to steward what's being poured out. It's wealth with weight, favor with fire, purpose with power. And it's headed your way. It's headed your way. So stop trying to figure it out. Stop trying to trace the blueprint with your limited understanding. Just trust the move. Trust the shift. Trust the God who led you through the wilderness. He's the same God who's now leading you into overflow. Because when God moves, he doesn't need permission. He just shows up with power. And what's about to hit your life? It won't make sense, but it will change everything. Listen closely now, because this right here, this is where everything shifts. You've been walking around carrying the pressure, trying to figure out how to make it all happen. How to pull the vision from your mind and bring it into reality. How to provide, to lead, to sustain the people depending on you. And somewhere along the way, you started thinking the outcome depended on you. That the weight of the breakthrough sat squarely on your shoulders. But I came to remind you of something sacred and freeing. You are the vessel, not the source. That means it's not your job to produce the miracle. It's not your responsibility to manufacture the blessing. Your job is to stay open, stay ready, stay obedient. God never asked you to be the provider. He said he is Jehovah Jireh. He didn't call you to figure it all out. He called you to trust. And trust is what makes the vessel useful. Not perfection, not credentials. Trust. You are the one he chose to carry it, yes, but you are not the one who created it. Every gift in your hands, every dream in your heart, every vision you've been praying over, it was breathed into you by the Creator himself. That's why the burden feels too big sometimes. Because it is. It was never yours to carry alone. God gave you the vision, and now he's giving you the provision to match it, but only when you stop trying to be the source. Think about the way oil flows. It doesn't create itself. It's poured from one place into another. That's what you are. A vessel of oil, a container for heaven's glory, a carrier of God's promise. The power isn't in the container. It's in what's being poured through it. So stop comparing yourself to other people's platforms. Stop questioning if you're good enough. Stop doubting if you're ready. God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. And He chose you. This is why the enemy fought you so hard. He wasn't scared of your money. He was scared of your purpose. He wasn't trying to destroy your image. He was trying to distract you from your assignment. Because if he could convince you that the outcome depended on you, he could weigh you down with fear and anxiety. But the moment you realize, it's not me, it's Him flowing through me, you step into freedom. You step into power. You step into overflow. The wealth transfer that's coming, it's going to pass through you, and it will impact generations. But don't you ever forget where it came from. When your bank account is full, when the stage is set, when your name is being honored in places that used to ignore you, remember, you are the vessel, and the vessel only works when it stays connected to the source. Stay in alignment, stay in posture, stay in praise. Because vessels don't have to chase what's already being poured into them. All they have to do is receive. You are chosen to carry this, not create it. Chosen to release it, not wrestle with it. Chosen to reflect the light, not be the light. So let go of the pressure. The breakthrough isn't coming because you worked harder. And now, He's about to pour through you like never before. Get ready, you're not the source, you're the vessel of something divine.